Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ellie Snake Lady and today I am celebrating 10 years of keeping snakes and more specifically corn snakes. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a sort of, I don't know, like a sort of story time and a look back at 10 years of keeping snakes. As I say, it's more specifically corn snakes because they're the snakes that I had 10 years ago. So basically, I'm going to start off with somebody that I'm kind of not really in touch with anymore, but 10 years ago I got them a snake for their birthday. Now, I don't advise this normally, but I knew that this person, you know, really wanted a pet snake. So I got them a pet snake and they'd done all their research. I'd done all my research about it and whatnot. So yeah, so the first snake that I kind of ever sort of started looking after and, you know, keeping, and that was a snake called Agathos. And I'm going to put his like pictures and little videos and stuff like that up on the screen for you so you can have a look. But yeah, he was the first snake and he was a wild type corn snake, or a classic type corn snake as some people call them. So yeah, and he was lovely, really, you know, lovely, friendly, always up at the window, always eager to come out and stuff, always ate his food, and he was absolutely good as gold. So yeah, we were sort of blessed to have him. I'm just trying to think, when I got him, it was actually from, it was something like Gumtree or Pre-Loved Pets or something like that, which yet again I know is a no-no, but at the time I didn't know any better. So yes, we got him from, yeah, I think it was something like Pre-Loved Pets or something like that. And the girl that kind of sold Agathos to me, you know, she was like, oh, he's only 2 years old. But when I look back on like photos and videos and stuff, I think he was a bit older. I would say he was sort of more 4 or 5 years old. I mean, you can judge for yourself, but he, you know, he was quite a big boy. So I think he was that little bit older, but you know, maybe she said he was younger just to get a quicker sale or whatever. But yeah, so as I say, he was an absolutely lovely snake, and because he was sort of like the first snake that I started keeping, I think we got a lot of photos and, you know, quite a few sort of videos, but they're not great quality photos or videos. At the time I didn't have a great camera, so and that goes for all my other corn snakes, you know, that followed after. So back in 2014 my camera wasn't the greatest. It was okay, and I would say like camera phones, I'm sorry, no, it sounds a bit retro, but they weren't as good as what they are today. Like, you've seen my photos of my snakes and things like that online, and obviously my videos are so much clearer because these you know, like iPhones now have such amazing cameras on them. They're so clear, and as you know, I do all my filming on my iPhone, so I don't have like a posh fancy camera because I can't afford one. But yeah, so this does me. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting off track now. But yeah, so I'm going to put up some like little videos and pictures of Agathos, and I'll probably put a cheesy photo of myself up with Agathos. And yeah, so I did like a little photo shoot of myself with him and stuff. So because I got him obviously as a gift, and that I know I was looking after him as well, but then so was the person I was living with at the time. And yeah, so I left Agathos with them and I moved away. I actually moved back up north to live with my parents and stuff. So London is so expensive. But yeah, so as far as I know, Agathos is okay. I've tried to get in touch, you know, like with his owner, but you know, to not much avail. I've just asked how Agathos is doing and I've had no reply. So I don't know. I mean, I would work out that if he was actually 4 years old when he came to us, then he would be like 14 now, maybe even 15 if he was 5 years old. So I don't know, he might still be alive, he might not be, I don't know. It's a shame, but I've kind of lost contact with, you know, Agathos's owner. So that's that kind of little story of like the very first corn snake that I had. And you know, he's absolutely lovely, such a gorgeous snake. So yeah, and as I say, a classic wild type, or classic classic type. So yeah, so that's Agathos. He was my first snake. So I'm going to move on to my next snake that I got is Athene. So she is obviously my snake that I got after Agathos. So she is actually mine, and as I say, obviously all my snakes after Agathos are mine. So I got Athene, and I'm going to put up some pictures and a little video and that of her. But yeah, she was so tiny when I got her. She was really small. So I'm not really 100% sure on the age of Athene and Asclepion, but I'm guessing they're of a similar age, and I think now they hit 10 years old probably at the end of last year. So yeah, so I got them when they were a few months old, and yeah, I just, as I say, I can't believe how tiny she was when I got her. But so basically I got Athene from basically a lady who bought Athene as a, you know, as a pet snake for her son, but her son wasn't very interested. So this lady put Athene up for sale on Gumtree. Again, I still wouldn't advise that, but at the time I didn't know any better. And I actually went to a place called Dagenham, and yeah, so I got her from there, and she was in like a little fish tank type setup. So obviously it was all glass with a plastic top. And when I opened the top of this tank, she was actually at the top, just kind of wedged in. So I got her out and I handled her, and she's just such a chilled snake. She's always been chilled. She's great at holding on to things and, you know, holding on to people and whatnot, you know. So she's, you know, she doesn't fall off things very easily. But yeah, I've noticed as she's got older now, her colours aren't as vibrant as they were when she was a baby. As I say, I'm putting up baby pictures of her and stuff. So her borders were a lot clearer. And you can see like the white bits and the red bits. They're not as clear as what they used to be. Now she's not actually shed her skin for a little while, so it could just be a case of that she needs to shed her skin. But I'm sure as the summer months come on, she'll be shedding a bit more, and obviously laying eggs. So at the time I was told that Athene was a girl, but you know, I didn't actually know, because I thought, you know, have the people that had Athene before me, have they had her, you know, popped as it were, or, you know, checked, probed, whatever you want to call it, you know, by a vet to see. But anyway, I don't know. So I thought, I'm just going to call her Athene. I love that name. You know, I love the goddess Athene, or Athena as she's also known in Greek mythology. So, and yeah, again, as some of you know, I'm absolutely a massive fan of Greek mythology. So obviously that's why my snakes have all got sort of Greek inspired names. But yeah, she's doing good. As I say, she'll probably shed her skin at some point. She's not shed her skin since last year, so and we're in March now, but she will do. Oh, she's just having a little mooch about. But yeah, I absolutely love her to bits, and I knew as soon as I saw her, she was just such gorgeous colours, and I love her eyes. I was funny about snakes with like red eyes, so I know it sounds weird, but I wasn't really keen on like albino snakes just because of the red eyes and stuff. And then, as I say, I saw her sort of online, not very good pictures, you know, on Gumtree. And I thought, well, I'll go and have a look and see what she's like. But as I say, as soon as I opened that little fish tank and saw her, she was so cute. And her red eyes, I absolutely love them now. They're like little rubies. She's like, I don't want to look at the camera, mummy. But yeah, she's got gorgeous eyes, so I'm loving her to bits. And yeah, so that's the story of how I got Athene. So I'm going to stop blabbing on about that and move on to Asclepion. So yeah, his story and me getting him, it's a bit of a strange one really, because I yet again messaged someone on Gumtree because I saw him on Gumtree and I thought, oh my gosh, he's so gorgeous, I love him. So yeah, I saw him on Gumtree and I was messaging this person about him and that, and you know, like trying to arrange sort of where to meet up and, you know, sort of pay that person what they wanted, because I think he was 20 or 30 pounds, the same as Athene. That's how much they both cost. So anyway, and I was just sort of trying to find sort of midway where we could meet up, me and this person, and me get Asclepian and hand over the money and stuff. But they were being really weird with me. So anyway, they stopped answering my messages and that, and they just, you know, were ghosting me about Asclepian. So I said to the person that I was living with at the time, I said, I don't know what to do, because I would really love to have, you know, this boy, but, you know, this person's not playing ball, as it were, that I was messaging. So anyway, so then this person kindly, person that I was living with kindly offered to go and get Asclepian for me, and rang up the number, and, you know, apparently it was some little kid that would, I say little kid, some kid probably about 11 or something, had put Asclepian up for sale on Gumtree. So that's why they were being so weird with me, because I thought if it was an adult they would just meet with me and we'd do an exchange and that's that. But yeah, so anyway, that explained that. So anyway, as I say, the person that I was living with went and got Asclepian for me and came back with him, and yet again he was so tiny, but he's always been not that great at holding on to things, so he holds off things a fair bit. Well, not as much now, but he did a lot when he was a baby. And yeah, so when I first saw him, he was just in this little box, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's so cute, and he was so small, and he was like really crazy. I mean, you know how crazy he is anyway. He was so active then, and he's still active now. And I was warned that, you know, obviously baby snakes are really fast and that, so I had to really hold on to him and stuff, and I still do now to a degree. He's calmed down a bit, but he's still crazy. So yeah, I just really, yeah, again, loved his patterns and his colour and everything. And obviously as he's got older, because he's 10 years old, the same as Athene, so he's got like yellow parts sort of on his nose and down his sides and everything. And I love that, because obviously you see the black and the grey and the sort of slight browny parts, and then obviously here you've got black and white checkers. And yeah, and as I say, it's just having that yellow, it just kind of sort of pops a little bit more, you know, against the slightly duller colours, should I say. But yeah, he's looking for somewhere to go now, because it'll be breeding season. We're in March now, so he can probably smell Athene on me, and he's probably hoping to, you know, get a girlfriend in time for breeding season. But yeah, again, that's not happening, because I don't want to end up with a load of little baby corn snakes that I can't really look after and do anything with. I mean, if I knew I could definitely sell them, then, you know, that would be great. But for now, I'm just happy looking after the 8 snakes that I've got. So yeah, sorry, I'm babbling on again, but he is quite gentle, and once he settles on you and things, he sort of calms down a bit, but he does love to investigate, and he's so curious. So but yeah, so that's Asclepian for you. We're going to see if we can get him to look at the camera. Look at the camera. Nope. So yeah, he's a lovely boy, he really is lovely. He's crazy and active, but I've even let my niece hold him before and things, and you know, he was absolutely fine with her, just sort of investigating everything. And you know, he's a good boy, he's a really good boy. So anyway, yes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him back, and I will then get Apollonia. So yeah, again, I think I got her from Gumtree, and yeah, again, wouldn't advise that, but didn't know any better. So yeah, so I got Apollonia from somebody on Gumtree. It was actually a family that were living in Basildon in Essex. So I went there, I travelled on the train by myself, and yeah, again, I wouldn't advise this, but I got in this guy's car, and he had a couple of kids like in the back of the car and stuff, so I thought it's probably not too bad. But anyway, he took me back to his house where his pregnant wife was. I think they had 4 kids altogether, and anyway, they had a whole load of baby snakes and stuff. And so I went in, and we had a little chat and everything, and I saw, you know, Apollonia's mum and dad. And it's funny because a lot of the baby snakes were sort of like a reddy kind of colour, orangey colour. I'm just trying to remember really what they looked like. Some of them were sort of striped versions of like a scorpion, you know, that sort of darker colour. And anyway, so yeah, so some of them were aneries and some of them were sort of albinos, but they must have had a whole load of snakes. But she was the only one that was like a sort of bright yellow, and her little tub where she was, which was sat on top of a speaker. I looked around, looked at all of them, and I thought, I've already got a snake that's red, you know, I've got Athene. So I thought, I looked at that, as I say, that little tub on the speaker, and I saw this little yellow snaky baby, and I thought, oh, that's so cute. So I got her out of her little box that she was in, and I had a look at her and stuff, and I looked at her tail, and I thought, I think she's female, but I wasn't 100% sure. So anyway, I paid about £20, I think, for Apollonia, which is very cheap for a butter stripe corn snake, even back then. So yeah, so that's what I paid for her. And yeah, so, you know, really lovely family in that I got Apollonia from. I got Apollonia, put her in like a sort of little box that I had with me, and we both went home on the train, and she was absolutely fine. She was just like in her little hide, but sticking her head out and curious as ever, like she still is now. And yeah, she's just such a chilled snake. She's never like gone for me or to bite me. The only time was when she was really little and I put my hand in over her head. Now, you should never do that with a snake because they feel threatened. So there was one time where she was trying to tag me, but she missed. But that's the only time. I'm saying this now, when I feed her next week, she'll probably be like, she'll be crazy. She'll go for me. No, she won't. But she's a lovely snake. As I say, she's so calm and so chilled, and I just think I'm so lucky to have her. The only bit that I'm sad about is the fact that she has got that cataract in her right eye, but she can still see out of her left eye, which is the one that I'm looking at. But I don't know, I mean, there might very well be a cataract developing in that eye as well, but a lot of people online have told me that snakes, when they search for their food, it's more with the tongue flicking and the smelling and things, rather than depending on their sight. So it is a bit different there. The way they see things is very different to how humans see things. And obviously they're very different from humans. For one thing, they're exothermic, so yeah, that's obviously why you have heat lamps, heat emitters, heat mats, whatever, anything heat, and that's what they need. Oh my gosh, she's going crazy, going in my hair. So anyway, yeah, so I took her home on the train. She was absolutely fine, got her settled in, and I've got baby pictures of her as well, and a little video of her like in the bath as well, just sort of mooching about and that, and having an investigate. So I'll put those pictures and videos up now. As I say, she's such a good girl, and breeding season will be kicking in soon, and she'll be laying eggs like Athene will be. As I say, the past few years there's only been one clutch of eggs for each year, whereas Athene, I forgot to mention, she did lay 2 clutches last year, if you've seen any of my previous videos. So yeah, so she'll be cooking up some eggs and everything, but as I say, I'm not breeding my snakes. So that's the story of how I got her. Yeah, again, another Gumtree purchase, but as far as I know, she was my last like snake that I bought from Gumtree. I've never bought from there again as far as I can remember. So that's little Apollonia. I'll see if she'll look at the camera. I'm looking at the camera. There we go. That's her bad eye. I don't know if you can see that very well. And then on the other side is her good eye, which is still that sort of pinky red colour. So But yeah, so she's doing good. So yeah, that's Apollonia for you. So next I will get out Caduceus. He was my last snake that I bought in 2014, and it was more into the late sort of weeks of summer into autumn that I got him, and he was really tiny. So I think he was about 3 or 4 weeks old when I got him. And yeah, I forgot to mention with Apollonia that she was actually 3 weeks old when I got her. So, and with Caduceus, as I say, he was about that same sort of age, and so I think Apollonia this year will be hitting 10 years old in April, going into May, and then he will be turning 10 years old sort of August, September time. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, he's yet again, he's one that's sort of, he's a bit like a Asclepian in the way that he's a bit crazy and he's a bit everywhere, and he was definitely feisty when he was a baby. So with him, the story goes that basically I went to a pet shop to purchase some frozen mice for my, you know, snakes that I already had, and then I saw him and I was like, oh my gosh, he's so cute and stuff. And I think I spent about £40 on him. And yeah, so that's what, you know, he came from a pet shop, specifically a reptile shop, should I say. So I got my frozen mice, and then I came away with him because I just couldn't resist. So I thought, sod it. So basically he kind of completes the 5 snakes that I had at that time, but obviously Agathos wasn't mine, so he's really my 4th snake that I got. And yeah, I really wanted either a snow or a blizzard morph corn snake, and as I say, I saw him and obviously he's a snow, and yeah, and he's perfect. So he was so little though, so tiny. I'm going to put up pictures, and I don't think I've got any videos of him. I did have one, but it seems to have disappeared and I can't find it now, but I'll put up pictures of him. Yeah, he was so small. I was looking at pictures of him the other day when I first got him, and he was like a little tiny worm. I was like holding on to him, and he was so tiny, and now he's just like so massive. He'll be due to shed his skin sort of fairly soon, because it's been a while, hasn't it, mister? It's like, no, give me a mouse. So yeah, he's doing good, and he's, as I say, he was quite feisty when he was a baby. He used to be quite sort of snappy at times, and he can still be like that now, especially if he thinks there's food around. Because just before I got him out of his enclosure, he was in the rock hide with the hole in the top. And yeah, so he was in that, and he was sticking his head out, and he was like food time, and I was like, no, it's not food time, it's getting out time. And then when he knew that, he went and hid. So I then had to get his rock hide out and get him out, so I kind of disturbed his sleep. But yeah, he's another one that his yellows are coming along. I don't know if you can see on camera, but he has got the yellows on the borders sort of coming along, and he's got a little yellow beak, and I say beak, little nose. So yeah, he was very pink when I first got him. That's why I say he looked like a worm, but now he's really white with those, you know, pinkish sort of scales, and with the yellow as well. He's just such lovely colours now as an adult. So as I say, he'll be turning 10 this year as well. So I'm really pleased that these snakes live as long as they do, because it's almost like having a cat, because I've grown up with cats, and most of our cats have lived to be in their mid to late teens. And you know, I'm hoping that it's the same with these guys. I do my best for them as I can. So they've got lots of light, as you can see. You know, there's a window right in front of me, it's massive, and they've got lots of light that comes in. I've got the lights that come on a bit later on in the day and stuff. They've got their heat mats and everything, so they're all eating well. And they always have. I mean, this guy, he's hardly ever missed a meal, even during like breeding season. Asclepian sort of goes off his food a little bit, but this one, I think he's only ever refused meals maybe once or twice. But I definitely know he's male, and I'm going to tell a really gross story, so prepare yourselves. I had him out after I'd been handling, I think, Athene and Apollonia, pretty much what I've done today. And yeah, so I got him out, and he obviously smelt the females, and then, you know, his hemi-penises popped out, and yeah, he basically jizzed everywhere. I was on the phone to my auntie at the time. I was talking to her, saying, yeah, I'm handling Cadassius, yeah, he's been a good boy. The next minute I know, I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Because he started doing these jerky movements, and then, as I say, the penises appeared, and yeah, so I was like, my snake's just jizzed on me. So I'm sorry, I know it's disgusting, but that's how I know he is definitely a boy. As I say, with the Asclepian, I've only ever seen him once with his, you know, out, and yeah, so that's how I know he's a boy. Plus he goes crazy at breeding season, and he goes off his food and that, whereas the girls are the opposite. They're like wanting to guzzle everything down, obviously because they're preparing to lay eggs and stuff. So you know, they're as I say, now I know that Athene and Apollonia are definitely female because they've laid eggs. So anyway, as I say, my 4 oldest snakes, my 4 corn snakes, and that's how I know, you know, their genders now and what they are. So I 100% know what those 4 snakes are. I've got 2 girls, 2 boys. So I think there's still sometimes, even when you buy from a breeder and they tell you that a snake can be a female snake, and then sometimes it could be male, or vice versa, and there's always a little bit, even if you've gotten from a really experienced breeder, sometimes you're like, but is this really a female? Or because someone commented on one of my videos about Australia saying, oh, but I think her tail and everything, she looks like a male. And I'm like, well, I was told by an experienced breeder that she's female, so who knows? If she lays eggs, she lays eggs. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Doesn't matter really. So, and obviously I know my hoggies, my 2 hoggy boys are definitely boys because they're so small, and it's easier, so much easier to tell with hog-nosed snakes. And who am I leaving out? My little girl behind me, she's actually on her table. I don't know if you can see her there. She's just looking at me like, mummy, please don't get me out. But yeah, again, on the label on her box, on Artemis's box, it said F, you know, which is for female and stuff. So, and then I think it was like the little female symbol. And yeah, so yeah, again, I was told by a breeder that she is a she, but as I say, time will tell. The females, they do lay eggs, and that is obviously how you could tell they're female, but there's some females that just haven't laid any eggs. They're definitely female, but they've just not laid any at all, and sometimes that does happen. So anyway, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, and this video is going to be like 20 million years long, but but yeah, so she, as I say, I'm just guessing Artemis is a girl as well. If she turns out to be a boy, then whatever. I'm not really bothered because I'm not going to breed them. So, but anyway, back to this guy. But yeah, no, as I say, he's doing really good and stuff, and he's always eaten. So, well, generally, and he can be feisty. He'll let you know when he's had enough because he'll start being a bit like and snappy and things. But he's all right. So. Anyway, so yes, so that's Cadassius for you. So yeah, that's my 4 corn snakes that I actually own. As I say, I spoke a bit about Agathos. You know, he wasn't my snake, he was a gift to someone. But as I say, my 4, which is obviously Athene, Asclepian, Apollonia and Cadassius, they are my 4 sort of oldest corn snakes, or my 4 oldest snakes, should I say. And they have been with me for the past 10 years. So I'm not going to sort of go on too long. As I say, this video is going to be really long, and I hope some of you might find it interesting and stuff. It's just such a fantastic hobby to be involved in. And I say hobby, but I see my snakes as more than a hobby. To me, they're like my children. And I know people be like, oh, for goodness sake, Ellie. But they are, you know, I've not wanted to ever have children of my own, human children. I mean, it's just not something that's been in me to do that. I've worked with children in the past and stuff, but it's just not in me to have my own children. So I've always loved animals, and I always wanted a snake, but they can be addictive. And I wouldn't just say to go out and get all different snakes, you know, willy-nilly or whatever. You know, really think about what you're getting and, you know, do your research and stuff. So as I say, my key thing is just to do your research before you go out. I mean, I would love to have a massive like farm, I say farm, but a massive load of land where I could have loads of animals. I'd have donkeys and horses. Like if I won the Euro Millions, excuse me, I'd have loads of animals and sort of people helping me look after them as well. Obviously I couldn't look after them all on my own, but that would just be an absolute dream. To run like an animal sort of sanctuary, that would be awesome. But that's not really going to happen, I don't think so. But yeah, so it's been a fantastic 10 years and it's been a real journey and a real sort of learning curve with things and one thing another. There's, you know, I've encountered people that have generally been positive about the way I keep my snakes, but other people like been negative. And I just think, well, my snakes, I've had them for 10 years now and they're healthy and they're doing fine. Don't get me wrong, they've had their odd bits. As you know, Apollonia's got a cataract in her eye, but there's not much. I mean, I could get stuff done. I could have it done, like, you know, take her to the vet, but it's more risky to put her under a general anaesthetic and get her eye done and all. I mean, yeah, it's a possibility. It could be done, but I don't want to risk her health. I don't want to risk losing her. And as I say, she's got one good eye, you know, at least. And when it comes to food and water and smelling around, I can see her now out the corner of my eye. You know, she's just going around tongue flicking. She knows where things are. You know, if you do have a snake that's blind or got a cataract in one eye like Apollonia, just try and keep the vivarium set up pretty much the same. I mean, maybe you can change the height, the odd hide here and there, but generally keep the water bowl where it is, keep the heat where it is. And that's how she knows her way around the tank. Even if she was completely blind, she would know where things are by tongue flicking and smelling and one thing and another and feeling things with her body and, you know, and all the rest of it. But I know I'm just gabbling on here. I don't know. I feel like I'm just going on. I can't believe how quickly 10 years has gone. And I mean, they've obviously grown up and changed. I've obviously got older and changed. And yeah, and it's just been fantastic having these animals. As you know, I suffer with anxiety, depression, I've got BPD as well, and I think having these gorgeous creatures around me, it just, you know, it makes me so happy. It calms my mind when I'm focused and I know that I've got to either change their water bowls or clean them out or whatever, or feed them. It's just a distraction because my mind is constantly going. I don't sleep well at night and my brain is constantly fizzing around all the time with lots of things, and so I find it very hard to sleep, suffer with insomnia, etc, etc. I've got all sorts of things going on with my head. Even to put my face on and do this video today has been a real challenge, but I thought I really need to try and get back into it because it helps sort of ease my mind a bit more and I concentrate on other things, you know, rather than worrying about money and one thing and another. So I hope that I will be here in another 10 years time and looking after all my babies. As I say, with my oldest snakes, if they're here in another 10 years, that'd be fantastic. If not, then that's just the way it is, you know, nothing or no one lives forever. So but I hope they are with me for another, you know, the majority of 10 years. Even if they're with me for another 5 years, I'll be happy. But yeah, we will see. So anyway, I'm gonna end this video here, and if you are still here and watching me babble on about my babies, then thank you ever so much for watching. And you know, if you've enjoyed this video and you haven't already, then please like and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, please hit that bell notification and click all to get notifications of all my latest videos. And if you've got any comments or questions or anything like that, then just pop them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer. But for now, from myself and all my snakies, mainly my 4 corn snakes because they're who I've been talking about, but from me and all my snaky babies, and here's to another 10 years. It is goodbye, and yeah, I'll try and get a video up again. I'll try and sort of get on more of a schedule and do it a bit more often, but as I say, I've been struggling a bit with my mental health, so please forgive me. But yeah, so it is goodbye for now, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks very much for watching.